dig, you sucker!
Shoop! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. And guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good today. Want to thank everybody in the chat, man. You know what? As soon as the chat, came on, it lit up, man. It just made me feel good. Thank you guys, man. Let us know where you're from. First and foremost, Bradley, how you feel today, man? You feel like a heavyweight fight or what?
Do I feel like a heavyweight fight between me and you? Are we going at it?
The adrenaline, man. You know, when you get ready to go into a heavyweight fight, the adrenaline is you can cut it with a knife, man. And right now, that's the way I'm feeling, man. I'm feeling real good today.
Oh, that's great.
The thing is, I don't know if it's the weather, because it's hot here, but it's been a beautiful day. I already be one of those sales, one of those shade sales, and I was trying to figure out how to put it up, and I figured it out, and I put it up in the back, and I tell you, man, underneath that sail, man, it could be 95 degrees outside, but under the sail, it's about 25% cooler.
So it was a worthy purchase.
Oh yes, most definitely. So I just been sitting out on the deck, chilling and cooling. It's been real nice being here around the Thug Mansion.
You know what? I'm excited because today's Wednesday, which means we're one day closer to Summer Champions 7, which goes down this Saturday. When we had that first show, the first Summer Champions show back at the Humble Civic Center in 2015, it was loaded. It was a great show. Devon Dudley was there. Teddy Long was there. DDP was there. Carlito, the Caribbean Cool himself, was there. And we had a cage match main event, which was sensational. Rest in peace to the Samoan Beast. But I think we had, I don't know, how many people were at that first one? It was a lot. It was a great turnout.
It was sold out.
It was like 1,200, right?
Sold out, hanging from the rafters.
It was sold out.
I wish it was like that, right? I mean, we're gonna have I don't know, maybe 300 people, maybe
a sellout for the times now.
Exactly, and I wish we could actually do it like that, do it big. But I tell you, it's going to be rowdy at 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, man. It's going to be on because I'm excited. More importantly, about the main event. Will All Day, Cam Cole. And the reason why I'm so excited, guys, these two are originals for Reality of Wrestling. These are my guys, and they work. And right now on the independent scene, they are in high demand. They work at a very, very high level. I'm so proud of how far Cam Cole has come in the shift that kid made in the process. I mean, he went from boys to men. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, both of them. And to see Will All Day, I was so excited to see this kid, getting tryouts all over the place. I remember when he first came with the name, he's like, Will All Day. I was like, man, that sucks. Will All Day, nobody want to hear that. You know what I mean? So I say that because I'm not always right. Right now, when Will All Day come out, he got his own theme. So All Day, that right there, man, I swear, man, every time I hear, I'm over to the side, like, yeah, I like this. So you never know, man, what's gonna work out. And like I said, I'm just so proud. The main event, Cam Cole, Will All Day tour. Reality of Wrestling's originals, and these guys are going to do big things one day in this business.
Yeah, I saw the progression of Cam Cole, when he came in, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago by this time, and started off, just learning everything. Then he was in a tag for a while. Then he started to really spread his wings, for lack of a better term, and become the guy that he is today. Will All Day kind of had something, I think, right when he walked in the door, he felt like, okay, I think he's going to grasp this soon. The funniest thing, though, about is I think that you always thought that Will All Day was a name that he made up to get himself over, right? But Will All Day is his shoot name. That's his real name. And I just remember we were in the office one time and you were telling him, just like you just said right now, how much that name sucks. It's terrible. It's an awful name. That'll never get you over. And then he called me aside. He goes, that's like my family's name.
Hey, man, the kid proved me wrong, man.
He was right. That was a good name for him.
Well, man, I always say, man, when you're 99%, you keep your mouth shut. When you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time. Will all day, he just said, man, screw what Booker T said. I'm going to call myself Will all day. I was like, okay. And then the fans start showing up for it. And then, when you got more than, 30 people in the building paid, you might become champion.
Or at the very least, get to pick your name.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, no, man, you guys can't be there, which, like I say, the tickets are all sold out right now. Check it out on YouTube. Check us out on the Reality Wrestling YouTube channel. It will be streaming live this Saturday night, and you will see the finest of independent wrestling here on the Gulf Coast. I promise you that. And your boy BT, he will be in the building, styling and profiling, wilding and dialing in the sun. Speaking of styling and profiling,
Woo!
How much time we got? We got
about 3 minutes, 4 minutes
before we take a break. And I know, and I want you guys. I need you guys in the chat. Weigh in on this conversation as far as what I commented on, which was Ric Flair is 72 years old. He's not the type of guy that want to hang out in the office. He's not the type of guy that want to balance the books or anything like that, or even coach the talent. Give advice, okay, that's one thing, but coach the talent. Ric Flair is far beyond that. As far as the entertainer goes, I just don't see him playing that role. But to make one more walk, to make one more style and profile down the aisle, just one more time. Ric Flair doing it only as the nature boy Ric Flair can. 16-time world heavyweight champion. And how you gonna tell a man? How you gonna tell a man that he can't do it no more? So that's the question right there. Ric Flair has kind of put it out there a little bit that, hey, it ain't over till it's over. The party's not over. Brad, play that clip for me real quick, if you can.
All right. This is on Ric Flair's official Twitter page today, and this is what he said.
I have to announce to you that I will never retire. I will only retire when I'm dead in this ring. Wow. Over my dead body. I've got too much juice left. Woo! I'm still next one.
There he is. Right there.
What do you think, man? What do you think of the thing is?
I will never retire. Woo!
Tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm not just blowing smoke. People say, man, Booker T, he's a fool. He's a goof. I've seen all kind of stuff as far as me making that comment about Ric Flair. And then for Ric Flair to kind of like, I don't know, affirm what I was saying, that, look, man, wrestlers, I don't know too many wrestlers that retire. I can't think of, Hogan, did Hogan actually say he was retired?
No, and I think he actually wrestled Sting in TNA. Right?
Exactly my point. Sting, he's another guy, 62 years old. He's like, look, man, if I can go in this business and they let me, why shouldn't I? And I think the same thing goes for Ric Flair, man. I mean, people say what they want to say, man. His body can't take being in the ring. I tell you, man, the professional wrestler, I must say, is different than most men. They really are. I mean, the job that the professional wrestler have, it's a 24/7 job, man, as far as beating your body up. It's no off seasons or anything like that. Ric Flair, let's just think about this for one moment. I've been around Ric Flair for many, many years, and I've never heard of Ric Flair being injured.
Yeah, I think he's kind of been an Iron Man. Maybe like in the 70s or 80s, he had that plane crash, but that was about it.
I'm talking about, a knee injury or elbow surgery here, that type of stuff. I've never seen Ric Flair on the shelf. I'm not saying that he, haven't had a surgery here or there, but we've never heard about it.
Right.
It wasn't reported in the, on the internet. As far as Ric Flair's in the hospital having, ACL, MCL, PCL surgery here, torn Achilles, all that. I mean, we've never heard that as far as Ric Flair goes. So, guys, we got to discuss it, man. We got to talk about it. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is the Nature Boy going to go for one last ride? Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Independent wrestling is full of charismatic persona, incredible athleticism,
shooting star, press from pressure covered,
and at times, complete chaos.
Got attention. Don't do it, Will. Oh my gosh! Senton bomb through the table.
This is where the young guys, the young girls come today to pay their dues, to learn the craft, to start the journey to become the next wrestling superstar. I'm WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, and these are the Indies. Sucker!
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, man, that's the question. Ric Flair actually posted another photo of him in the gym working out.
Clanging and banging.
Throwing up a single bicep shot. And I'm going to tell you right now, Ric Flair looked like he's holding about a 18, 19, 20-inch gun. You know what I mean? And I'm
I'm not touching that.
No, and if you're in the gym, man, you training, man. If you training, you preparing. And if you preparing, you might just be ready. So what's your thoughts on Ric Flair perhaps making a return back to the square circle?
Look, I think we talked about it a little bit the last time this subject got brought up. Am I a Ric Flair fan? Forever. I think that he's probably going to go down as the greatest of all time, all around, right? But at 72, does the fan in me want to see him wrestle? Sure. But when my brain starts thinking, when my brain starts working up here, I say, I don't want to see Ric Flair go out there and not be able to do it like only he can, right? There was a time, even into his early 60s, where Ric Flair.
What do you mean? You think Ric Flair can't go out and do it like he did it once before?
You think No. I don't think Ric Flair is going to go out there on wherever, AEW or WWE, wherever, and have a 1 hour Broadway. Now, I love Ric Flair. I do. And you know what? Could he make something happen? Sure. It would, but I don't think that Rick would even like to be remembered for less than what he was, right? Like for instance, say you had to say they call you, say, Book, we need you, main event WrestleMania. I know you're always thinking about chicks and championships, but there has to be a side of you, the performer, that says, you know what? I don't know if I can get up for that leapfrog like I used to. I don't know if 20 minutes in I can hit that spinaroonie fresh. You know what I mean? And would that not, in your mind, diminish your legacy potentially?
What was the first word you said before you said anything else?
Main event of WrestleMania.
and
I know you're about checks
Exactly that point right there. My ass will be at WrestleMania with my boots on. I won't do that leapfrog. I may not do that drop kick off the top rope, but if the wrestling gods will me to do that because of the adrenaline that's going on in the building, man, anything can happen. You've heard it before, man. Anything's possible. You've heard that before, right?
I've heard it once or twice.
That's what this is, man. Anything is possible when you get in the ring and the adrenaline start flowing. You've heard the stories, man. You've heard the stories of, a child being in distress. And a mother normally wouldn't be able to, pull this off and save that child. Maybe a car is on that child, but that mother, because of the adrenaline, knowing that that's her child, move that car 2 inches just enough. You know what I mean? So those stories, man, they are real. And the adrenaline factor, it's as real can possibly be. Now, I know you guys listen to this right now probably going, what the hell is Booker T on today? These are stories, man. This is stories.
I actually think that I did see a woman lift a car off of her baby one time from an adrenaline rush, but it was in the pilot episode of The Incredible Hulk from the 1970s. That doesn't really happen, Book. Flair. Flair. Again, great of all time. That's probably what you were thinking too. You were probably thinking of that same episode. Book's like, I remember that. That's what Bill Bixby was studying. That's what he was. But Flair, to me, without a doubt, probably had the greatest run in the history of the company, right? I mean, or the history of wrestling, maybe not WWE specifically, but the history of wrestling. This guy came in the 70s, was world champion, NWA, toured all around, was the face of Jim Crockett Promotions when it was still the NWA, going into WCW. He was the face. He came over to the WWF, became the world champion there. 16 times he held that championship. He wrestled into his 1960s and at WrestleMania 24 had a show-stealing performance against Shawn Michaels in what was then supposed to be his retirement match. Greatest run of all time. But when was the last time Ric Flair was like in a wrestling ring? Wrestling? What year was it? 2000 and what?
Wait a minute. You know what though? Let's rewind here just for a second, man. Everything that you just laid out right there, everything that you just talked about, from the NWA all the way to the classic match with Shawn Michaels. How do you walk away from that? How do you just let it go? How do you do that? How do you let something like that go? It's hard, man, when this is what you do. Let me tell you something, man. When Ric Flair wake up every day of his life since he's been doing this, you know who he's been? The Nature Boy. You know what I mean? And the stop being the Nature Boy is something that I don't think can be done. I just don't think so. When you have walked that line and literally told that line for so many years, and you wondering, as you watch it on television, as you get older, man, I wonder if I could still do it just one more time. Man, I wish I could just get in there and just prove to myself that I could do it just one more time. I know probably, perhaps I may even have that thought, one day. And say, man, I wonder if I could still do it. Thank God I got reality of wrestling and these young kids to throw around, and I could get in there and test myself and not embarrass myself. But it is going to be, I think, something that Ric Flair is going to be wondering if he doesn't do it, man. He's, because he's not going to get any younger. Ric Flair said it right there in that clip. If the only time I'm going to retire is when I die in this ring. That right there is a bold statement, my man. I'm going to tell you, and it's real for everybody out there, that's going to post this on the internet. Did not tell you so.
Look, man, again, I love Ric Flair, the greatest of all time, but hearing that you just repeat his words and thinking about the possibility of him getting inside the squared circle, like I'm having flashbacks to the end of the movie The Wrestler, right? Where Randy the Ram goes up there to give the Ram Jam.
And tell me, how great, I mean, you just hit it right on the head. How great was that right there when the Ram, the girlfriend come in and say, baby, I'm here, But the Ram say, it's about them out there. It's not about you. You know what I mean? That right there, man, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps right there just thinking about it. To go out that way, man, it was the right thing to do. It was the right. Should the Ram have come down off the top rope and said, I'm going to the hospital?
We don't know what happened. That's the great thing about that movie. We don't know what happened. But let me ask you this. Would Ric Flair be doing it for them, or would he be doing it for him, in your opinion? Them being the audience, or would he want to do it for himself?
A little bit of both, because I really think nostalgia is something that never goes away, because, we're going to be talking about it here later on. Tito Ortiz getting ready to fight Anderson Silva. Both of these guys are well past their prime of their careers. This is going to be a boxing match. Oh, it's combat. It's Tito. It's Anderson. We're going to watch it. You know what I mean? So that's the way this thing works in life. Just say for instance, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. They go on the road. They're going to do the Toyota Center 3 nights in a row. Every night is going to be sold out. All those guys are old and dirt, but the people still want to see them. You know what I mean? So
this is the Rolling Stones. I get you.
This is the Rolling Stones. It's Mick Jagger. You know what I mean? So
But okay, let me ask you this:
young people. This is what I tell young people, like yourself. You're gonna grow older as you stay on this earth. As you wake up to every sunrise, it's gonna be a day past. Okay, and then one day that artist that you watched when at this moment in time right now, you're going to still have the love for that person. And no matter what, you're still going to want to see them every time they do their thing. And I say that because Maze and Frankie Beverly, every time they come to town, if I'm available, I go see them. They sing the exact same records that they sing before. But it makes me feel the same way. It takes me back to that moment, so that's why I say that, and I understand your reasoning and rationale. But one day you'll understand what I mean.
Look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be excited to see it. When I heard that Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell were going to end their trilogy a couple years ago, I was excited that we could see it. But how did that turn out? Right? Was it what we thought it should have been, or what it was what we thought it was going to be, but was it what it should have been? It wasn't.
We didn't care. After it's over with, man, when it's over with, you don't care. Our thing is, if we watch Ric Flair just walk down the aisle, get in the ring and, hit the ropes and just stop and whoa, one time, you gonna get your money's worth. All right, whoever the opponent
I would be excited. I'm going
to tell you right now, you will be excited. As soon as you hear the music, you would go, oh, man, that's the real boy there. And you're going to fall into that moment. And that's why I say that, guys. It's a nostalgia thing more than anything. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
This is Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, the home to the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. It's a 20,000 square foot facility with more than 50 full-time students and wrestlers from around the world. Inside the World Gym Arena sits a 9,000 square foot venue set up for weekly shows.
From up top, 1-2 moonsault.
where our students showcase their skills in front of a live audience.
What he's done here is awesome. He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
In the back, a full weight room.
6 up.
Complete with state-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers.
There you go. There you go. Two more.
A full staff and office personnel.
One more.
Running the day-to-day operation. We have interview sets for TV production, promo classes, quarterly combines. We evaluate progression and team building. Referees, commentators, ring announcers, and live television production. At the World Gym Arena, we don't just teach you how to become a professional wrestler, but an elite sports entertainer. This is Reality of Wrestling.
Chup! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Carvel, I'm going there for a quick sec there, man. But yeah, man, like I said, that's just my opinion on it, man. I know everybody got a different view on this thing, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, again, I just want to be clear that I'm stating myself correctly. Would I like to see Ric Flair in a ring again? Sure. I'm a wrestling fan. He's the greatest of all time, right? I would, in the same regard of, I'd like to see Michael Jordan lace him up for one more game. But at some point, you got to say, well, would it live up to what I remember? And would we be disappointed? Would Flair be disappointed? Here's the thing. There was one guy, or really two guys, but one guy who retired at WrestleMania, aside from Steve Austin, like said this was going to be my last match, retired, and then he came back, and that was Shawn Michaels, right? And Shawn Michaels came back, and in his own words, I'm not speaking out of turn, when he came back and did that tag match with Taker and Kane in Saudi Arabia, he walked through the curtain, and he looked at everybody, said, missed it by about that much, right? And he was not happy with what happened in that performance. And that was his last match. It's probably going to be the last time we ever see Shawn Michaels in a ring. And not only does he have to remember that, the last thing fans are going to remember about Shawn Michaels in a wrestling ring was that he was bald and had a bad match.
You know what? I don't think that's the last thing people are going to remember about Shawn Michaels.
That's his last wrestling match.
I don't think that's what people remember about the person that they're watching. When that person, just say, for instance, you honestly think when Shawn Michaels get put in his grave, that's what people are going to be thinking about.
No, it won't be I said it's the last thing we'll remember about him being in the ring.
No. But that's not, I'm just saying, do you think when they put him in his grave that they're going to be thinking about that match at all? Anyone?
No.
That's the point.
But that's not the point. The point is what I'm thinking about right now. If someone was like, hey, what do you think of Shawn's last match?
The thing is,
like, in his words, it wasn't very good.
Well, the thing is, it ain't about how good the match is. I don't think anyone that get past that stage in their career where they were their best is ever going to go back and be able to duplicate that. But I think to be able to get in the ring and do what you love to do, no matter what anybody thinks or what anybody say, and there is going to be a boatload of people that want to see Ric Flair make that walk just one more time and get in the ring and take a bump. If he could take the bump off the top rope, if he can't take it, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying it's going to be a moment for him in his legacy to have been perhaps the only man at 72 years old to go in and work from a primetime perspective. And the thing is, just like I talk about the show, and right now we got we had the hurricane at one point. Right now we got ASH, right? It's only one spot for a person like Ric Flair in this business ever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't disagree with that. That I don't disagree with. And you know what? Stranger things in this industry have happened. Much stranger things than a 72-year-old man coming back to wrestle. I just don't know. I don't know.
You know what? And I know it's a lot of people got like mixed emotions about that. But I say it because, you only get a chance to live once. And you don't know when that date is going to be when your time is up.
Sure.
And to not, you see somebody 100 years old jumping out of an airplane. Why'd they do it? You know what I mean? Because it's something that they felt like they needed to do just for the adrenaline rush to know that, hey, this is something I did at 100 years old. So that's why I say that right there. But let's move on. Like I say, you guys in the chat, we appreciate your comments. I see we got.
Well, yeah, we do have one. I think this is 40 rupees, and we have our first
super chat
of the show. This comes from some baller. To be honest, he's risking his health. Is risking his health worth it at this point, Book?
I think Ric Flair health is at risk when he wake up every day at 72 years old. How long do you want to live? That's the question. You think you want to live forever?
I don't think anyone wants to live forever. No.
Exactly my point. So to live it and do it to the fullest, I think is for me, especially, my kids are grown. I ain't got to think about the babies anymore. At this point in time, it's about me. I understand the health situation and whatnot, but I understand living life as well, especially at 56 years old.
Yeah. 72-year-old legs are a little different, right? Than 56-year-old legs or 28-year-old legs.
But wrestling is we take care of each other. I'm sure whoever Ric Flair was to get in the ring with, it would be someone that would definitely be taking Ric Flair in his hands and making sure he takes care of him. What
about Ric Flair versus his son-in-law? Ric Flair versus Andrade. There we go. Let's book it.
That might be something, but I would want to see some nostalgia. Of course.
Okay, what about Ric Flair and Andrade versus Sting and Darby Allin?
Something like that. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I might be able to get behind that.
I mean, something like that. I mean, that's an entertaining match. Of course, we're going to get something out of it. The fans are going to eat it up. I'm going to tell you right now, man, the photos that you get from that right there, the nostalgia, man, it's gold. But like I say, man, that's that's here nor there. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, speaking of wrestling in the business, this is a little off topic, but it's on topic. To you could speak to it from expertise. There was a guy on your squad last year, the Lakers, Dennis Schroeder, right? He was the point guard for the Lakers. At one point in the season, they offered him 4 years for $84 million, right? They said, sign this deal. He said, no, I want to wait to free agency because he thought his value would be higher, okay? He just signed last night with the Boston Celtics after a very poor playoff performance for 1 year for $6 million. So he went from 4 years for 84 to 1 year for $6 million. He overplayed his hand. In a contract negotiation, because you've had to be in several, did you ever have to what were negotiations like for wrestling? Because in basketball, it's like show and prove, right? Go out there, we'll see what your skill is on the court. How do you negotiate a wrestling contract?
It's a little different now. I can't tell how these guys do it now, but back in the day, we had, WWF, of course, out there. And for talent, the company knew who was the talent on the roster, and they made sure they paid that talent appropriately if they want to keep them. For me, I had an agent that worked out my deal for me back then, and it was always, do you want him to go to the other side? Okay, we were like this much, and I realized after I fired my agent that the deal could be worked out a little bit better, a little bit different, according to there again. You don't want to overplay your hand, and sometimes you ask, well, how much am I worth? And it may be well more than the number that you're asking for, or the agent. And that was my best deal that I ever got in a wrestling company, was when I asked, how much am I worth? And they paid me a nice little piece of change. it was beautiful, So yeah. But sometimes, man, you can overplay your hand. That's business. And
That's a rough one.
But sometimes you got to gamble. And it's sometimes it's money on the table, and you say, man, I don't know, maybe I think I can get more, and you screw up. That's the game of life. That's all that is. It's the game of life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But it's the way you play the game.
But how would you feel though about being the $84 million man to the $6 million man?
No, I'd be hot. I'd be hot as hell. I'd be lose my damn mind. I'd be wondering what the hell was I thinking. But the one thing I always say also, and young people can take this and run with it, the money don't make the man make the money. So if he's banking on himself, he'll find himself in a spot to where he might be able to make more than that 84 mil.
Yeah, if he goes out there this year and balls out in Boston, you know, it would definitely be good for him. I'm actually rooting for him now because I hope that he gets his money.
Let's take that super chat, man.
All right, we're about at break time. You want to take it right when we get back?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, we'll send him to break, Book.
Hey guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in 1 minute.
And that's a stunning elbow to the face. Oh, and look at this. She just raking Angela's face across the middle. Oh, my goodness. That's hard to watch. Oh, man, what is she thinking? Oh, no. Top rope suplex. Superplex from the champion. If enough damage hasn't been done already to Angela, that has got to be the exclamation point. She's looking for the 450. Oh! From the top rope, she's calling for shooting star press. Star press. Shooting star press cover. 1, 2, 3.
Sucker!
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Hey man, we got a super chat. Let's get to that, Bradley.
All right, let me pull it up here, and the
super chat
is from Roland Curtis, who says, pro wrestling is different. I don't think that hardcore Michael Jordan fans want him to play even 1 second more in the NBA. We hate what those Wizards years did to his legacy and stats. I'm still upset. Well, Michael did go 40 at 40, but I see it is different. It's definitely different. What do you think, Book?
I agree 100% with Roland on that right there. As far as, I don't think, the NBA fans want to see Michael Jordan back in the NBA actually trying to run with them boys. But I guarantee you, if Michael Jordan, just say, for instance, Hakeem Olajuwon, Isaiah Thomas teamed up for the big three, I would think the ratings would be bigger than they have ever imagined in a lifetime.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
That's
I don't disagree.
That's my point when I talk about stuff like that. You would pay to see Michael Jordan, and you would hope that they were in your city so you could actually be there to see it in person. Elijah won, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan, three of the oldest guys put together. What is about 200 years. All right, but you will be there in the building wondering if Michael Jordan gonna glide from the free throw line. You still gonna be wondering if he can do it. That's what I mean about the nostalgia with guys like that.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Rick. We do have a CM Punk update here, by the way, in just a moment. Live breaking news we'll get to.
Another super chat, right?
Yeah, we have another super chat, and this is from
Super chat.
Alexander Fitzgerald, the $5, who says, just wanted to say you guys are awesome. Thanks for the wrestling news and opinions every week. Shucky ducky, quack.
Shucky ducky, quack, quack. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty more than anything, because that's what we try to do. Give it to you on the real from the perspective, the way I see it, the way I've walked through it and whatnot. But yeah. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. AEW news, man. AEW is going to be coming to Houston here
next week.
Next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, they're going to be starting that Rampage show on the 20th as well in Chicago. And the question is, man, all over the internet, will CM Punk be in the building in Chicago? And I know that's like somebody dangling a carrot. You know what I mean? Trying to make people just run and get them tickets. I'm wondering, man, is this a big setup? Is it a big ploy? I mean, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the setup would be a beautiful setup if it was all meant to, get the people in the building. Let's get a rumor started about CM Punk signing with us, man. Let's do it. Let's get it started well before we start selling these tickets. Because I heard as soon as people started talking about this, the ticket sales just got hot.
They jumped. They definitely jumped. But here's the thing. Do you want to hear straight from the horse's mouth about CM Punk and AEW? Because he's been promoting his new show Heels, which is coming on Stars. I believe it debuts this Friday, and he was asked about this. Do you want to say that?
Yeah, you know what? I read it. Yeah, read it. I heard about it, but I didn't get a chance to read that. Yeah, but go ahead.
So this is what he said. He said, regarding being, in Chicago on August 20th, he was asked about his plans. He said, I think I might be doing a screening. This isn't confirmed yet, so I probably shouldn't blast this out everywhere. But yeah, we're talking about doing a screening of episode 3 of Heels at AMC in Chicago. That's one of the dates that's been proposed. I hope to see everybody there. He was then asked a couple more things about AEW and Tony Khan. He said, Tony, my perspective on this, and I've said this to his face, I'm a guy who has constantly heard, hey, I've got a money guy. Hey, I've got TV at least once or twice a year for 15 to 20 years of my wrestling career. It always seems like somebody says, oh, we're going to start up and compete with Vince. I always think that came from a bad spot, because I think if you start up a wrestling company, you should focus on yourself. So I more or less took a wait and see approach. I wasn't, and I am not interested in pro wrestling in that respect. That is what CM Punk said when questioned about AEW.
What the hell does that mean? I don't understand.
It sounds like he hasn't been very, very I don't know, happy maybe with how AEW has conducted themselves in their startup approach. And that's what he said. I took a wait and see what this was going to be. And he says, I wasn't interested then, and I am not interested now in pro wrestling. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
You know what, man?
Here's the other thing, though. The key thing is he said he was going to be in Chicago on August the 20th.
Yeah.
He did say that. He said we might be screening something. Now, CM Punk, he's an old school wrestling guy.
As well as he said he would just be busy on August 20th. He didn't say, a later date wasn't possible or anything.
Well, also this though. Guess what? I've seen an episode of Heels. I've seen the first 4. They're only about an hour. Last I checked, AEW's a 2-hour show. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
go to a
yeah.
screening, there's probably a little party beforehand, screen the thing, you sneak out the back door, and you make your way down to the Allstate Arena, wherever it is they're working out of in Chicago. And, the cult of personality arrives in All Elite. I think it's still
Amen.
possible. But do you think that let me ask you this, based on those comments, do you think that he's trying to throw us off the scent? Or
Well,
do you think that he's meaning what he says?
come on, man. Come on. If you just robbed a bank, you ain't gonna leave dollar bills, like breadcrumbs leading right to you. No, you're not gonna do that.
Actually, you shouldn't do that. My neighbor, when I was a kid, robbed the bank and did that. He spent the rest of his years in prison.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's a true story.
You don't want to be that the die pack went off on him or something.
Well, he robbed it in his late 70s, and it took him a while to get back to the house because he did it on foot.
Cops waiting on his ass when he get home.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. FBI knocking on the door, crashing the party everywhere, including my house. Anyway, yes, continue with your.
No, I think that might be throwing the scent off, man. But like I said, if he was smart, and that's one thing that I've noticed about AEW, man. It's not a whole lot of spoilers come out of there, as far as stuff getting on the internet and people knowing about it before they can actually, really make that surprise feel special. They've done a damn good job at keeping all that inside knowledge inside the war room, man. And that right there, has always been a huge problem since social media has, come along. So I don't know, man. Keeping it real close to the vest, I think it's smart. We'll find out sooner or later, rather sooner than later, if CM Punk will be making his return inside the squared circle. See, we got another super chat.
We do. Here it is again.
Super chat
from some baller, who says, with 100 rupees, says, in that interview, he spoke highly of Darby Allin, which makes me think he watches the product and wants to work with these young guys, especially Darby.
I mean, if you watch Darby Allin, you can't help but speak highly of him. Because I watched that NWE, Northeast Wrestling. I watched Darby Allin work there before I ever, saw him on AEW, and I was like, man, this kid is unique. The paint, him, being a small guy, but he actually went in the ring and worked from a technical perspective. Of course, he can do the flying off the ropes and whatnot, the high flying stuff, but he can actually go out and technically engage and make you go, wow, this kid is pretty good. And with wrestlers, that's the only thing you got to say about him. Man, this kid is pretty good. You ain't got to say, man, he's great. He's phenomenal. He's the best you ever seen. Just he's pretty good. And when I first saw Darby Allin, the first thing I said was, man, this kid's pretty good. So yeah, I could easily see that.
Yeah, I think that also the conversation about Darby, as far as the internet went, changed pretty quickly. At first, he was almost cast off as, he just is like a high spot guy doing the coffin dive backward onto the apron and things of that nature. But he quickly changed the conversation about him. And I think that when you look at pure AEW stars, meaning they didn't have a name prior to joining or they didn't jump over from WWE or anything like that, Darby is, I think, in a class of just like him and Jungle Boy and MJF, but MJF even had a little bit of a buzz prior to. But I think that those are their three big homegrown stars. If I had to make the comparison to TNA, that's like your AJ, your Bobby, and your Samoa Joe in some respects. That's your core number of guys. So I think Darby's great, and Darby versus Punk almost seems like a wrestling fan. If you're fantasy booking, it seems like that would be something that you would make.
Yeah. It's easy. It's an easy one. Like I say, Darby Allin, what's so unique about this kid is he's not the biggest guy in the locker room. But he goes out and he takes this thing so serious. When he performs, you could tell he puts himself in a totally different place. Just walking out the curtain and the look on his face tells me that this guy looks at this business from a serious perspective. It's not a game or anything. It's not like he's leaving the house on the weekends to go party. This is his job. And I appreciate what Darby Allin has brought to the game. like I say, a lot of guys could really can learn from guys like that. I heard him say that Darby Allin at the building, like he dresses like in the bowels of the building where nobody can be around. You know what I mean? And that right there, man, you definitely if that's anywhere remotely true, man, it's just let me know, man. This guy is really off into trying to find that creativeness to go out there and do something different than most of the guys on the roster. And those guys are, like I say, they're again unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he's just adding to his legacy. Also getting the rub from Sting is cool.
Yeah. And you know what? I was wondering about that pairing from the beginning, but I think it's turned out to be pretty cool. Actually, having Sting as that mentor, so it's pretty cool. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. You know what? It's not a super chat, Brad, but I gotta mention it. Philip Glaudy, I think that's the way you pronounce the last name. King Booker T versus Brad Scarface Jordan celebrity golf game for a undisclosed amount. That is true. That is true. That's going to be coming up here real soon.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah. Me and Scarface going to be going one-on-one, head-to-head. And around the golf, and I plan on whooping his ass real bad. I'm gonna do him like only the king of the world can. And I've been working on my golf game. If I turn this computer around, you can see my golf setup right here, because I'm serious about my golf, and I don't plan on getting beat. And the wager it's a nice chunk. But it will my part, it will be all donated to charity.
Oh, well, look at that. Well, that's awesome. I didn't know that was official. I know that there was talks. So you're gonna beat him, right? I'm
gonna do him real bad. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been hitting the long ball as far as the driver goes in the short game. Short game has been giving me a little trouble, but I don't think I'm gonna have any trouble with Scarface. I really don't. That's gonna be easy work as well as easy money.
Well, I think that you need to go up there on the first hole, like on the first tee, right? You need to go up there on the first tee. You need to whack it, right? I'm talking like 300 yards. You want to hit it
280.
You want to hit it so hard that Scarface can't believe it, right? And he's thinking, my mind must be playing tricks on me.
My mind playing tricks on me. That's exactly what he's gonna be saying. I was wishing it was Willie D out there as well, man. I school all them, but you know what? God rest Bushwick Bill, but I wish he was out there too. I whoop his ass too. But
all three of them.
But nah, man. Another story I want to talk about. We was talking about NXT Forum League. I see that story got picked up a lot, and I really believe in the Forum League system. And the reason why I don't know. I want to get your take on this. More than anything, is as I remember back in the day. we didn't have, just say, for instance, a bunch of independent wrestlers. Well, everyone was an independent wrestler back then. Okay. Let's just say that everyone was an independent wrestler before WWF. Okay. Mid-South, of course, they had territories and whatnot, but most guys were independent wrestlers. But we knew them all. We knew all of those guys that was out there, the Hacksaw Jim Duggins of the world, the Jake the Snake Roberts. All of those guys, they worked all over the place. But when WWE, pretty much became the World Wrestling Federation, and everyone, pretty much was working for the WWE. Okay, they did it a little bit different. Just say, for instance, I remember one of the highlights for me. WWE used to always do vignettes and have a wrestler coming, and you used to be so excited, a month out waiting on that guy to get there. They'll do a vignette every week leading up to boom, and then finally the guy come. The one guy that showed up to the WWE was Ricky Steamboat. Okay, we have been seeing Ricky Steamboat on television for years, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But when he came to WWE, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat took on a totally different persona. He had the dragon,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He spit the fire, stuff that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat never did before. And we were so, excited about seeing Ricky the Dragon Steamboat come to the WWF. But this guy that we have been seeing forever. Same thing with these NXT guys, independent wrestlers, guys like Samoa Joe, and AJ, guys like that, whatnot, that have been out there on that independent world. And then finally WWE do that vignette on them. We've seen them before, but we know that guy now is finally here, the Keith Lees of the world. I just think those guys will serve a much better purpose as far as be looked at as much bigger stars, using that blueprint. Just because one thing I believe in, and it, it could be true, it may not be, but I think it is. Just say, for instance, you're in the main event on the show that night, okay, and then third match, some guys out there doing something, you run out to save somebody, bing, 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 you make the save, whatnot, the crowd pop. Okay, now when you come out for the main event, you're not going to have the same pop that you had because they had already seen you already. I always say, man, the crowd cannot see you at all until that one time, and it got to be the first time that night to get the biggest pop. To see those NXT guys out there doing their thing on a weekly basis, and then they come to the main roster, it doesn't feel as special for me when those guys finally make it to the main roster. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, but that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, because you've like you were alluding to before, you've seen them already. It's like, oh, it's not, man, Adam Cole, just debuted on the main roster. It's, oh, we just saw Adam Cole on Tuesday. He's now wrestling on Friday. You know exactly. What I mean? And I think that there's definitely merit to that. There is merit to that. You know what? To go back to those old vignettes, I'll even take a guy who wasn't even a main event guy. But when I would see the promos and vignettes when I was a kid for Chris Masters, the Masterpiece, right? And they would just show like him flexing in front of like a red curtain. That was it. And you just see like certain shots for weeks and weeks and weeks. I was like, man, who is this Chris Masters guy? And when's he going to wrestle? And then when he finally made his debut, you were hyped for it. You're like, this guy looks like a Greek god. He put everyone in the master lock, and it works. It's an old school thing that will work to this day. And I'm not saying that NXT hasn't been successful, because it's been supremely successful. It's a developmental brand that's gotten a multi-million-dollar television deal. I mean, that's great, with no big name superstar on it. But if its design is to be a farm league system, then it needs to be a farm league system and not a true third brand. Now, if its goal is to be a third brand, then we need to look at it differently. I think it needs to be run completely differently than what it is now. I think right now it's got this kind of weird, it's in a weird purgatory. It's half legitimate third touring brand and it's half developmental farm league. And I think that they're kind of in the middle of the seesaw here. They need to pick a side.
Yeah. And that's just my opinion on that right there. Like I say, Yeah, I think the talent, we got great talent there. Can they go out and perform? They can perform at a very, very high level. But like I say, to get that, what I want to call, that superstar intro effect, to be able to have that, I got to feel a certain way about wanting to see you. And if I just, like you say, just saw you last week, man, this ain't nothing new. I'm just seeing them again. So yeah, I think I think I'm right on that. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. But I think I'm spot on as far as that goes.
Yeah, well, let's take a couple super chats. And I also, if you want to make a point about NXT, should it be developmental and farm league? Should it be a legitimate third brand? Super chat in your comments, questions, or concerns. We will address them here on the air.
Super chat
from some baller again with another 100 rupees. Sorry for the excessive questions, but would love to hear Booker's opinion of what he expects from tonight's main event of Chris Jericho versus Wardlow on AEW.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, man. Chris Jericho has he's been doing a great job over these last few weeks. I must say, when you like go to one of these, high dollar, high class 7-course meals, that's what you're getting right now. With Chris Jericho, he's giving you every little bit. He's the appetizer, the soup, the salad, you know what I mean, the steak and the potato, and then you got the dessert coming later. So that's what I think Chris Jericho is doing more than anything is laying a foundation of where this thing is going, and more importantly that you guys have been taking on a 3-4 week storyline ride with Chris Jericho.
About 4 weeks. Yeah.
Exactly. So that right there has kept you in tune to what is Chris Jericho going to do next week, because he's done every one of them very, very well. So expect Chris Jericho to go out there and do his thing, man. He's doing some of his best work right now, I must say.
I'm gonna borrow a phrase from you. Actually, you were talking about Seth Rollins a couple years ago, and you said that Seth Rollins should be on the cover of romance novels because he's telling a great story.
Yeah,
Jericho has entered the Fabio stage of his career because he's been telling just great stories week after week. He needs to be on the cover of a romance novel. Seriously, I mean, he's just been fantastic.
No, you're exactly right. So that's what I expect from Chris Jericho, to go out there tonight, work with a young guy, a much bigger guy, and gives you guys the ultimate in entertainment. He's still the best at what he does. So big props to the Mick Jagger of professional wrestling, and that is the Ayatollah of rock and roller, Chris Jericho. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. We about to take this bad boy home, guys. Glad y'all sticking out with us here inside the Hall of Fame. Brad, I know we got another super chat.
We do.
Let's take care of it.
We do. So let's take it here in our final segment today. Here is
super chat.
Roland Curtis. I love goat talk. Did you guys see SmackDown? 3 GOAT claims were made. Cole said that Cena was the GOAT. McAfee said Roman was the GOAT. Sasha said that she was the GOAT. Natalia, 3 titles in 13 years. Sasha, 8 titles in 6 years. All right, what part of this do you want to take first? Last part first. Natalia, 3 titles in 13 years versus Sasha, 8 titles in 6 years.
You know what? Sasha's great. Okay, Sasha's great. She's an unbelievable talent. She's done a lot of great things in the WWE. She's been a bunch of first. As far as Iron Man and all that kind of stuff, whatnot. She's put herself in position to be, the greatest, perhaps of all times. But I just think, how long has Sasha been doing this?
I mean,
six, 7, 8 years.
Something. What? 8 years? Yeah.
Yeah. So she got a long way to go before she can claim that GOAT status. Like I say, Natalia, for me, her body of work, her longevity has put her in a class of her own. Is she the best worker or anything like that? Perhaps not. But as far as the work, that's what I look at. People can say, John Cena's not the best worker, but the guy has put in the work inside of the ring, outside of the ring. How long John Cena's been going now on top?
Since 04.
Not too many people, put themselves in that category right there. So John Cena's definitely the GOAT. As far as I'm concerned, Roman Reigns still got a long way to go before he can, feel that way. Now, who said Roman Reigns was the GOAT?
That is McAfee.
That is.
That would be Patrick McAfee the third.
I like Pat McAfee, but he's still trying to get the rub. He's still trying to get the rub here. He's a Roman guy. You know what I mean? He's got to see, sit on that same level as Roman and whatnot. So he's trying to, do the right things in that business. Having that job, sometimes you got to, do the right things.
Well, BT, coming up here, what is it, next weekend is SummerSlam, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about SummerSlam coming up, but you mentioned the 2 guys who are in the main event. One of them you called the GOAT, and I just want to run by you what Las Vegas is saying about this match, the Universal Championship match. Tell me if you agree with this line or not. Roman Reigns minus 500 to John Cena's plus 300. So Roman Reigns, you have to bet 500 to win 100. If you bet on Cena, 100 wins 300. Do you think that that's fair? Are they not giving Cena enough props? Because here's the thing. If he wins at SummerSlam, John Cena becomes the 17-time world champion.
Yeah. I'm not a betting man. All right. Let's just put that out there first. Cena versus Reigns. Betting odds should be on Roman Reigns. Right now, Roman is today. Let's forget about the future, but today, Roman is it. John Cena making a comeback and won to dethrone, the tribal chief, take him off the head of the table. That's a great story. That's a really great story. Can John Cena be the guy to take Roman in the deep waters and give those fans that ultimate thrill ride? I really think so. I mean, the guy is really Shakespearean when it comes to going out and performing and making the fans feel a certain way. And right now, Roman Reigns is at his peak as far as being hot, man, as far as, people wanting to see Roman lose. Perfect guy, perfect match. It's going to be good. But if I had to put money on it, and if I was promoting it, Roman Reigns, tribal chief, and steel.
Yeah, but here's my question. If John Cena isn't the guy to take it off Roman Reigns, who will be that guy? Who will be the person to become the champion?
You remember I talked about that before, man. It's going to be somebody that's going to have to come up out of the ashes. These guys got to figure out how to, create and build themselves to the point to where they can stand on the same stage with Roman Reigns and people believe that they can be the guy. Now, Roman has put himself in that position, and he's head and shoulders above everybody on the roster as far as guys coming out there and saying, man, I'm finna whoop this guy's ass. All right. and not just him saying it, but us, we believe it. You know what I mean? So I think that's a guy, man, you know, that's going to come up out of the ashes. You know, you got Karrion Kross, who's a guy that's definitely got that look. But then again, he has something working against him as well. He hadn't been there long enough. He hadn't, you know, created that buzz as far as, you know, to where, man, is he the guy to dethrone Roman at this point? But to build him properly, he's a guy that's going to be in the picture. His name's going to be mentioned here and there and whatnot. It's got to be a few more of guys like Karrion Kross. Who are they right now? I don't know, because like I say, it's going to be up to those guys to rise to that occasion, to put themselves in that position to where we, the fans, look at them and say, man, this guy right here, man, he got something. And I'm still waiting to see who that is.
Let me ask you this. What match are you more looking forward to at SummerSlam? Would it be John Cena versus Roman Reigns, or would it be the now official Seth Rollins versus Edge?
You know, I'm more excited about Bobby and Goldberg, to be honest.
You're more excited about that match
I am.
Okay, why is that? I'm not saying, obviously you can be excited about that one.
No, I'm more excited about that match because it's got more intrigue than any match on the card, really.
Well, how so?
I mean, it's Goldberg. It's Goldberg coming back to challenge. It's almost like Ric Flair coming back to challenge somebody. It's Goldberg coming back to challenge somebody. And that somebody is the champion. That somebody is Bobby Lashley, a guy who is well-versed in professional wrestling as well as mixed martial arts, who can actually rip Goldberg's head off if he wanted to. So that intrigues me to the point to where I'm wondering, what the hell is Bobby Lashley going to do to Goldberg? Is he going to kill him? That's what I'm wondering. No, I'm serious. So as far as, you know, I'm not thinking about the spear. I'm not thinking, I'm looking at it from a perspective to where Goldberg could really get hurt in this match with Bobby Lashley, you know, especially if he screw up and do something wrong and things go awry. So I got more invested in Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley more so than anything on the card.
Okay. You know what? I'm interested to see it. I will say, out of the matches that I said, I'm interested the most in Cena versus Roman. Bobby and Goldberg is up there.
I bet you this. When that match come on, you won't be going to the kitchen,
no,
you know, to the bathroom or nothing. You're gonna be sitting there wondering, man, how long is this gonna last? That's what you're going to be wondering, man.
Okay, and that's my question. My question is, do you think the match goes over or under 5.5 minutes? Because that is what Vegas has as the over-under, 5.5 minutes.
I say they should have put the over-under at 1 minute.
You think it can go under 1 minute? Go 59 seconds?
This could be quick. This could be one of the quickest ones of all because it's got a serious feel to it from a perspective. Okay, it's not like Taker and Goldberg. This is a guy in Bobby Lashley who can rip you like a rag doll. A guy who's like 265 pounds of solid muscle. And he's in the best shape I've ever seen him. And Bobby, you know, not a bad MMA fighter as well. So I gotta give, you know, Bobby Lashley, you know, the edge as far as going out there and beating the hell out of Goldberg in quick, fast fashion. And that's just my opinion on it. It could go. It could last more than that. But this is real as far as I'm concerned. This fight right here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want to see what the chat says. Chat, just real quick. The over/under is 5.5 minutes. Just put in the chat over or under, so we can get a gauge on what the most people think.
Under.
You're thinking under? Okay, we'll see what most people say. Booker T. But SummerSlam is a week away, almost. A little over a week away. You know, once we get to Sunday, it'll be 7 days from then, or Saturday, excuse me. We're going to talk about that, and then also that Pacquiao Spence fight is next week. We got a lot coming up next week here on the Hall of Fame.
Got a lot coming up, man. And yeah, I'll be out in Vegas a little early, doing a little work. So if you see me out there, throw it up. Fist bumps only. Right now that Delta's taking over out there again, guys. So if you can't, guys, get the vaccine. I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to do the hugs again. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. So get the vaccine so we can all get back to our normal lives. But right now, guys, we got to get ready to get up out of here. I want to thank everybody in the chat today for your comments and your questions, as well as all of these super chats. We appreciate you guys for keeping this thing rolling. Bradley, as always, man. Hey, man, thanks for making this thing work. Hey, guys, check out my show, The Indies, with Booker T tomorrow on YouTube, with one of the up-and-coming indie stars out there doing his thing. But right now, guys, I'm up out of here. See you later.
Can you dig it?